Our travels on the Keweenaw Peninsula brought us to Copper Harbor and Fort Wilkins Historic State Park. This fort was established in 1844 to help manage Indian and settler relations. As it turned out, there was little for the Army to do to keep the peace between peaceful peoples, and the fort was closed in 1855. The Army had built 27 structures to sustain the 270 men who served here during the 11 years it was open. Both mornings we camped there, I took advantage of the beautiful weather and hiked to what became my favorite spot in the campground, one of the lake overlooks. The easy 15-minute walk to the fort from the east campground was delightful along Lake Fanny Ho. Along the way, you'll notice a fenced-in cemetery where 3 soldiers were buried. You will enter the fort along the married men's quarters on your right. In most buildings, you'll find period artifacts and stories about the fort and the soldiers that served here. If you love history, this is a great place to take it in. The blacksmith and carpenter shop stood here in a row with a post bakery. Blacksmiths like 25-year-old Private Jacob Snyder from Dauschhound, Germany, forged shoes for oxen and horses, and they also made and repaired tools and building hardware. We arrived early in the season, so the campgrounds and the fort were nearly empty of visitors. I had the time and space to be creative with my photos and videos. Spring was finally breathing life into the newly budding trees when we arrived in late May, and I found the colors just as beautiful as the autumn display that paints this region at the end of summer. Staying at the fort allowed us to slow down, take a nap, and eat some hearty, warm meals that nourished our souls as we watched spring come into view. Behind the officers' quarters is the guardhouse and the historic entry to the fort. While exploring the fort, exit here and walk across Highway 41. Make sure you turn around and look at the Fanny Ho Creek. It drains Lake Fanny Ho into Lake Superior. Across the street, take the short walk through the parking lot into Astor Shipwreck Park to the harbor front for viewing of the picturesque Copper Harbor Lighthouse. The lighthouse was built in 1866. Take your time and soak in the view. We visited the park 2 times while staying at Fort Wilkins, once in the rain and once on a spectacularly blue sky day. The last night we stayed at Fort Wilkins, the lake was peaceful and calm. Its still waters reflected the beauty all around, and as the sun shone its final rays of warm light, the golden hour arrived all at once. Newly budded trees began to glow, the lake reflected that brilliance, and the scene took our breath away. I'll end this video with another version of my favorite walk in this campground. And if you find yourself in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and I hope you do because this place has stolen my heart, venture to the northernmost part of Copper Harbor, find a spot and relax, unwind, breathe in the pure air, and enjoy the views of the shining Big Sea water of the greatest lake of all, Gitche Gumee. Thank you for sharing in our adventure, and everybody have a wonderful day.